I want to go to Brendan Carr right now. Of course, he is a prominent player, certainly, in these types of issues. He is a senior Republican on the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and it comes at a fortuitous time. Brendan Carr, good to have you as always. You know, Republicans have been leading this effort right now, more mayors and governors now on Capitol Hill to say, you know, quit tinkering with TikTok, just get rid of it. How do you feel about that effort? That it's a Trojan horse through the Chinese, it's spying on us. And anything we advise or tell them to do, they're not going to do. So just outlaw it here.
Yeah, look, this is the type of week that TikTok has spent millions of dollars trying to avoid. It's why they brought in high-powered lobbyists, former members of Congress, to avoid what's happened this week, which is bipartisan agreement in Congress, Republican, Democrat, that TikTok presents an unacceptable national security threat, as well as a serious threat to the well-being of American families. As you pointed out, the dam is broken nationwide. We have states across the country, up to 12, many just in this last week again alone, looking to ban TikTok. And this comes on the heels of Biden administration officials speaking out. FBI Director Chris Wray has sounded the alarm on TikTok. Avril Haines, the Director of National Intelligence, said that parents should be concerned. A State Department spokesperson recently. And again, really, I think Senator Mark Warner, Democrat chair of Senate Intel, a lot of this goes back to him. He was an early advocate for us standing up and addressing the threat that TikTok poses. So I think at the end of this week, really, the fundamental question has changed. It's no longer whether TikTok is going to be banned in terms of its current operations in the U.S., but a question of when.
I talked to my young sons about this at 20, 21. Their view, they love TikTok, Commissioner. Not that should influence your decision, whatever you do. But when I pointed out that the argument against TikTok, as much as they loved it, was that the Chinese are spying on you and there are all sorts of algorithms to target you, they say, well, doesn't everyone do that? And it was a very cynical response. They get the cynicism from their mother. But my point was, what do you make of that point? Like, who doesn't? I'm not trying to forgive China's activities, sir, but who doesn't gather info on their customers?
Well, I think we should be clear about the threat that it poses, because there is something very unique about TikTok, even compared to other social media applications that also hoover up a lot of data. One is we're reporting that there are officials with ByteDance, the parent company in Beijing, that are tracking the location of specific Americans. We've seen reporting now in foreign influence campaigns where the propaganda arm of the CCP targeted specific U.S. politicians ahead of the midterm and targeted them for criticism, and unlike other social media apps, didn't disclose the link back. And in terms of kids, this is really serious. So the version of TikTok, Douyin, that is demonstrated in China shows kids educational material, science exhibit, other sort of museum information. And here it's serving our kids things like the Blackout Challenge, which has resulted in, I think, about a dozen kids, unfortunately, hanging themselves and killing themselves here. We've seen reporting, including from the Wall Street Journal, that kids here are being targeted with content that is resulting in eating disorders, extreme unhealthy exercise. We've seen reports linked to TikTok of kids developing tics from following Tourette syndrome videos. So the threat here is really multifaceted, and parents should be really concerned.
So that this is a deliberate effort led by the Chinese government to do this, that this is ways of getting in to our kids' heads and entertainment and going way beyond that.
That's exactly right. And this is the concerns that have been raised on a bipartisan basis. It's why we see up to 12 different governors across the country taking action. The two different versions of TikTok really tells the tale. There's the spinach version that's being provided there inside China, and very different unhealthy content being delivered to our kids. And this is an algorithm that ultimately was developed in Beijing, controlled by Beijing. And that's why I've long said I just don't see a path forward where we can continue to allow this to operate. And really, the attention now turns to the Biden administration, because they're the ones that hold the key to taking decisive action. They cut a preliminary deal with TikTok earlier this year, it's been reported, to allow continued data flows. And the recent reporting is they sort of pushed the pause button on that as they're reassessing the risk. But the problem is that leaves us fully exposed. Right now, this data is flowing back unchecked to Beijing. The content originating from there is being delivered to millions of kids right now. So it's time for the Biden administration to step up and bring to a close its ongoing review of this application.
It sounds like they are changing. They're just trying to find a timing or maybe a face-saving way to do so.
I think that's right. This bipartisan legislation, again, introduced this week by Congressman Gallagher on the Republican side and Krishnamurthy on the Democrat side, I think is a very significant moment because it says this isn't, Republican, Democrat. These are, bipartisan national security officials that are saying it's time to act. And again, I wouldn't want to be in the Biden administration, navel gazing on this, because every piece of data that goes back, every content that comes back, we own it right now in the administration if we don't take some action to cut that off.
Brendan Carr, thank you very much. I should have had you around, Brendan, or talk to you before I talked to my sons on this. I would have had more
Happy to do it.
ammo. All right, thank you very much, sir. Good seeing you again.